Greetings, my sweaty nerdlings. My name is Zack, and I'm bringing you the recap of all the top stories from Cinelinx.com. And San Diego Comic-Con was this past week. I got to hang out with the Cinelinx crew. Got to see everything from amazing panels from Arrow and the CW, Supernatural, Justice League, Infinity War. It was an amazing Comic-Con, and I'm going to recap it all for you right now. Comic-Con was absolutely insane, everyone. On top of just not even the Infinity War footage or Justice League or the panels, I did want to share some of my top moments from Comic-Con. One of my top moments was actually seeing Stephen Amell jump off stage to give one of the girls that was actually dressed up like Arrow. She was there during the Q&A, and she actually asked if Stephen Amell was going to produce any more shirts or merchandise to donate towards the funds to donate towards cancer research. Her herself was a cancer fighter, and we know that's a really big thing for Stephen Amell because of his family, and he's a real big advocate for cancer research. We saw it when he did the Red Nose Day on American Ninja Warrior, and we see it every day in his post. Well, she was wondering if he was going to make any more, and he said, you need to make a promise to me that you're going to bring this necklace, this very special Arrow necklace I'm going to give you, bring it back next year. Dude jumped off stage, ran up, gave it to her, gave her a big hug and kiss. Whole place went nuts. We were all teared up. And Rob, thankfully, got some amazing footage of that. So make sure you guys stay tuned to NCNS Live and Cinelinx.com for that really special moment. I'm telling you, no other press guy even got this close to this magical moment. So make sure you guys check for that. Some other amazing things is, I have to get out of the way, I'm so excited for Ready Player One, directed by Steven Spielberg, which, Steven Spielberg, thank you so much for coming back out and doing more movies. I really appreciate it. And this is the perfect movie for him to do. The trailer was filled with everything that we were hoping to see. I personally read the book on Audible that was read by Will Wheaton, which is just the best, right? We got to see certain footage of inside the trailer of the DeLorean, of the big this huge party that Simon Pegg is going to be involved in. We got to be able to see a little bit of like the robot fights, Freddy Krueger, Duke Nukem. But there is one thing I do want to point out. If you guys are original fans of the book at all, Ultraman is a really big part of the story. Basically, they have a giant robot mech fight at the end, and the main character uses Ultraman as like, throwing the hammer down, we're going to win this war. And they don't have Ultraman. They have the Iron Giant. Now, I don't know why, if they're trying to appease to American audiences by taking Ultraman out because he might not be familiar and the Iron Giant is, or just if they couldn't get the rights to use it. That is the biggest issue with this movie, guys, is that there's so many pop culture references and things from so many different properties all in one book that they might not get the rights to every little part we want to see in the book or in the movie. So we'll see what they replace. We'll see what they're going to do with the property, but the trailers itself was absolutely amazing. Jason and BC got to do a trailer reaction from it and a panel reaction, so make sure you guys check that out on Cinelinx and NCNS. It was absolutely great. Another top story that we have is obviously the Justice League footage and the next Justice League trailer. The panel was moderated by Chris Hardwick, but it was actually, the whole room was actually ran by Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller, who's playing the Flash and Aquaman. The Q&A was great. Them talking about, being all together on set was great, all in costume. They addressed what we all want to know. Is Ben Affleck excited to be Batman? Is he going to have to exit being Batman? Literally a day before the panel, there was tons of articles being pushed out about Ben Affleck not wanting to be Batman anymore. And his response to it, as he kind of danced around it, his response was, I love coming to Hall H and saying that I'm Batman. I love being Batman. I get to say that I'm Batman. I'm Batman. So he answered it, but didn't answer it at the same time. So make sure you guys stay tuned to Cinelinx as we get more reports on seeing what's happening with Ben Affleck's Batman. But the best question of the panel was a little boy asking if Superman was going to be in the movie. Well, we've seen it in the art and in the posters. You guys can even see in this poster right here for Justice League. Superman's right up there. He's in all the promotional stuff. Even on the poster that they released of all the different symbols on the bottom, Superman's symbol's on there. So, yeah. But the question that he asked was, is Superman dead? And Jason Momoa just stepped up and he goes, hey, little boy, I'm not sure if your parents told you, but Superman died. And then Gal Gadot jumps in, like with a motherly influence. It's like, it's okay, you know, if you're a big fan of Superman, you're gonna love Justice League. You know, they are all very trained in not to leak anything. And he's like, just watch it, just watch it. And later, which we don't have footage of it, but I'm gonna see if I can get my hands on it. Later in line for the signing of, they sign posters after Hall H. Jason Momoa leans in and tells the boy, "Don't worry, Superman's alive." Possible spoiler, or maybe he's just trying to comfort the boy. I don't know, but it's nothing really that new. But it was just kind of really harsh for Jason Momoa just to say he's dead. But what we did learn in the panel is I don't even think Jason Momoa expected to be there at the panel. He flew from Australia the night before with his family and was like, "Yeah, I'm here, guys. I didn't have it on my calendar, but I flew all the way from Australia last night." And speaking of Aquaman, his panel was absolutely fantastic. The best quote from the panel is when he runs up on stage like a rock star, throw down the trident, starts banging it on the stage, and Chris Hardwick says, "You're definitely Aquaman because we're all a little bit wetter now." That was, it was funny. I was wet. But make sure you guys check out on the Cinelinx Twitter page, as the Cinelinx team was inside tweeting live about all the reactions of everything that was going on. Obviously, there's more DC panels, but another big thing that stuck out to me is that when they announced the Flash movie, they announced it as Flashpoint. Now, there's no information on this other than the title, so maybe DC's like putting this Flashpoint thing in there, as my theory is, if these movies just bomb, if Justice League stinks, Justice League 2 is no good, and we have the Flash, we can just reboot this thing with time travel. We're going to pull an X-Men, guys. We're just going to reboot this whole darn thing with time travel. So that's a total possibility. We got to see, me and BC got to be able to sit in on the screening for Harley Quinn and Batman. Now, guys, let me tell you right now about this movie. It is a comedy. It is not a serious action. It is a complete parody of Batman and Harley Quinn. There is a fart joke that goes on inside the Batmobile for about 10 minutes, and you're just like, this is still going? You got this is where it's going? Okay. All right, we did that. We did a fart joke. Batman has some great one-liners. We should have a review up for that on the website here soon. Make sure to check for it. But Batman and Harley Quinn coming out soon on Blu-ray. Oh, and just before we move away from DC, real quickly, the Aquaman footage. The Aquaman footage basically shows a couple fishermen on a boat. Their line gets pulled, and you just expect Jason Momoa to pop up or something. No. These fishermen get pulled on the boat all the way around the lake. They let go of the rod, and it shows a 3-finned shark coming out of the water and goes back down. It has like this kind of like bioluminescent gear on it, and then it pans down all the way to underwater, and it's just like an army of like underwater ships and everything. And in the Justice League panel, someone asked Jason Momoa, "Is that your army? Is that Black Manta's army?" Well, if we know from what we've seen being casted and from what Jason Momoa said, he goes, "That's Ocean Master's army. That's my brother." And we learned a little bit about where he fits in the league. Aquaman is not a king. He's rejected by the real world, and he's rejected by Atlantis, so he's just kind of going with the tides. Pun, but that's exactly how he said it, so I thought it was funny. But he's just kind of going in between, and with the Justice League, he finds a family. He feels like he's really a part of this team, which is really, really great to hear. Instead of him possibly being just kind of like the rogue, he's actually a part of this family and a part of this team. In the Justice League footage, we basically just got to see Steppenwolf, and everyone from Themyscira are going to be a part of Justice League. Not too not too much details put out. Obviously, the film's coming out soon, so we got to see. The big buzz is we were hoping to see a Green Lantern announcement. Now, I've heard from several different sources. We have not been able to confirm this, but several sources says Green Lantern is casted and will be in the film. So we'll see how that all goes. Moving from DC to Marvel, we're going to be talking about a little bit about that Infinity War footage. Now, I'm not going to even show you screenshots. I'm not going to put the trailer in here. I don't want this video getting taken down. But guys, it's epic. The main thing to point out from everything is just real quickly, Thor teams up with the Guardians. Captain America is full nomad. He's got a big old beard. Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow has white hair now. But the biggest thing that stuck out to me is Thanos isn't wearing armor. And the reason for that is, that we learned from the panel, is that he doesn't need the armor. He has the Infinity Gauntlet. He doesn't need full body, he doesn't need his giant armor anymore. And he's kind of being a little cocky, as the trailer ended with him pulling down the moon onto the Earth. And that's all I'm going to say about it for now. We got a little bit of Brie Larson's concept art as Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel is going to take place in the 1990s. So I'm not sure if Marvel really has this whole timeline thing figured out. We've kind of learned with Spider-Man Homecoming they might not, as the timelines are kind of not adding up, but we'll see what they do with this. And then obviously we have that Thor Ragnarok trailer. Thor Ragnarok trailer was absolutely fantastic. Some tidbits that we learned from that is that Hulk has actually been Hulk for almost 2 years now. So at the end of the trailer, where he starts talking to Thor about, I'm a raging fire. No, you're more like water. He has about the speech of a 2-year-old, and which I'm really excited for. I'm a huge fan of Planet Hulk. And then that whole series where there's very little Bruce Banner and more Hulk. So hopefully we get this in Thor Ragnarok and this almost like space buddy cop kind of movie. But obviously don't watch the Infinity War stuff, because it kind of will spoil the end of Thor Ragnarok. So don't watch it unless you want to be spoiled for Thor Ragnarok. Other things from Comic-Con, obviously the toys were absolutely fantastic. But as you guys know with Comic-Con, if you stand in line for a toy, you're basically there all day. Some of the Cinelinks and NCNS crew picked up some great exclusives. Make sure you guys message us on Twitter and hit us up on Facebook to see which ones we got. I personally got the DC Superhero Girls exclusive. Jason got some great Star Wars Black Series. And Rob even went out and got some great Daredevil exclusives. So make sure you guys hit us up online, follow us on social media to see all the rest of the coverage that we did from Comic-Con. And wrapping up some of my final thoughts on Comic-Con is Netflix came in with a huge presence with this movie, Bright, with Will Smith and Joel Edgerton. The trailer looked fantastic. In this new kind of modern day world with like fairies and orcs and elves. Make sure you guys go to Cinelinks to check out the full trailer and any news and updates for Bright. But I'm going to tell you right now, just calling it, shooting it out there, Bright looks like it's going to be a hit. Death Note screening was also there. We did not attend, but from several sources, if you're a big fan of the anime, you will not be a big fan of the Netflix American adaptation. But go ahead and tell us when these movies and these trailers come out. Tell us what your guys' thoughts are on all the Comic-Con footage and trailers. Let me know if there's anything that I missed. Let me know if there's anything that you guys learned from this video. Make sure that you guys like this video and subscribe. My name is Zach. Come back next week for another recap. And check out Cinelinks for all your guys' news, articles, and coverage.